What's up, bitches? How's everybody doing today?
Yo.
We got Corin. Corin's actually sitting next to me right now.
Yeah,
which
man.
Is weird because he now lives in Chicago.
Yeah.
So it's funny how like you and I are sitting face to face now, but this, if anything, is going to be worse for people listening to us because they're not going to see us.
Fuck 'em.
So they're probably thinking like, just go back to Chicago and like let me see you in the Skype thing.
It's like turning back the clock, though, dude. Like, this like brings back memories when we used to throw it back and just being here, you know, we had like, wow, I had my Coronas, I had my 40s that I would be drinking.
I get more excited for the face-to-face ones. I don't know why, but I prefer the face-to-face ones. But I mean, I guess maybe it's the technology involved. Like, you know, every once in a while it skips with Skype.
Yeah.
Like, fuck. There's like a slight lag or something, and it just gets annoying. When it's face-to-face, even though it's worse for everybody listening because they can't see us, it's like, it's just more of a normal conversation.
Yeah, like with the Skype. Well, here I can like sense, you know, when you're almost finishing a sentence or some shit. On Skype, if you have a good ass point and like the lag kicks in and I'm like trying to say some shit and like it's a dope point and something to like chop and freeze as you say that point, I'm like, fuck, now I gotta just nod and be like, yeah, that shit was dope.
Now I gotta pretend like I know what he said. Yeah, I think everybody does that when you talk about this shit. Dude, so I know you're going to the Knick game today, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So we got somewhat limited time, but still a decent amount of time. But there's a few things I want to talk about. So I saw this right before you came in. I think like BuzzFeed always does these kinds of articles like every now and then that are really interesting and get you thinking about how fucking old you are. So they got this new one out here, or I don't know if they're just republishing it from recently, but I was like in shock reading some of this stuff. So I want to go through some of it with you because it's like you don't realize as you get older, time quite literally feels like it passes much faster, and there's a mathematical reason for that too. Like, I forget how it was explained to me, but like when you're 2 years old, living those 2 years, that's 100% of your life. So those 2 years feel like forever because that's 100% of your life, and it was 2 years. But fast forward to when you're 20, a year feels much shorter to you because mathematically it is, because you've been on this earth for that many years.
Good point. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's some weird mathematical thing that explains why that is the case. Because everybody always says, oh my God, time flies. And a year is much shorter in that 20 frame. So, listen, this is the first one.
That was just like some mind-blown shit. I'm like thinking about it. Like,
and I probably, to be honest, I probably explained it really shitty. Like, there's probably a math person out there right now who's like, you didn't like lay it out right. But yeah, that's the 85 days to you starting right now is going to feel a lot shorter than 365 days felt to you when you were 5. Yeah. Because that was a much bigger chunk of your life back then. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, so the first thing they say here, 1965 to 1990, that frame is the same as, it's equal to 1990 to 2015. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
So in 1965 to 1990 is the same as 1990 to 2015, and that's weird to people like us because if you're around our age, you know, that feels 1990. Although I was 2 years old, but when you hear 1990, you're like,
oh, that was last year.
Yeah, you feel like that's very recently. You know. And culture doesn't, like, I'm sure it has changed a lot since then, but it doesn't feel like it's changed a lot since then. But 1965 to 1990, those are totally different cultures.
Yeah. Well, there was like so many different errors where like 1970s or whatever, like
was distinctly different from 1980s, was distinctly different from 1990s when you look back on it, and you look at how it unfolded. 90
to 2015, you're just like, oh, there's
Hanson. Like the
I was just thinking about Hanson.
The 11-year-old.
Yeah.
Really?
Just for some reason, when I heard 1990, I was going to go Hanson, but
Hanson,
they're probably later.
Yeah, no, I don't think a lot of them were alive then. So the kid who was 11 years old, Zach Hanson, he's now 30.
Damn.
Right? Isn't that crazy? He's actually, I mean, he's older than us.
Yeah.
Which, you know, it didn't feel like that. Oh, you saw him on TV.
Yeah, when they came out, I was just like, oh, they're mad.
Because you feel like that's whatever, alternative rock, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. They say it's considered classic rock now.
That's wild, too.
This one I'm not as amazed by, probably because I have gray hair also, but it says Freddie Prinze Jr. has gray hair now.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by that.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by that.
He probably is like well,
He's
he had an
older
awesome
than
life,
us.
probably banging like hot chicks, and then he had a phase where he was like, "Hey, I'm Freddie Prinze Jr. from all those like teen movies," and they're
Yeah.
like, "Dude, you're like 34 now."
Yeah,
and
like-
he's like trying to still hold on to that.
A lot of like high school kids now, right? The ones who are in high school now probably have no fucking clue
Oh no!
who Freddie Prinze Jr. is. In fact, some of these things get into like similar points here.
But some people probably have a good, like some people do have a good gray hair. Like it goes well.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
feel like he's got like an ugly gray hair where it's like, you just look like thrown off now.
You know, that's a great point, man. Like
Some people pull off the gray.
I've had this debate with people actually in my family who've told me, just let it go.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've said this before on air, but I've been dyeing my hair since I was like 18
Mm-hmm.
or something crazy, like crazy young. I just started to have, and don't get me wrong, it's not like I literally went all gray or all white
Yeah,
at 18.
yeah.
It's just I saw a few and I was like, nope, not happening. I'm going to fucking wipe this out every, whatever, 2 weeks, 3 weeks or whatever. I'm going to dye my shit, and that's the end of the conversation. But people have told me, like, just let it go gray because it doesn't. A lot of women look at men with gray hair and they like it. They
Yeah.
go, "Oh, he looks like distinguished," is the word I've heard a lot. You know, or experienced. It looks like.
And you're just like, yeah, whatever. Like, what the fuck? Like,
But I think it's a mix though. Like, I think first of all, I'm 27. For me to let it go gray at 27, you just no, because you look way older than you are. Even if it looks good, you look way older than you are.
yeah.
You see what I mean? Like, it might actually be something where women might look at me and go, oh, they might think I look better than I do if I have, colored hair.
Yeah,
But-
that's what I'm saying. Like,
But they
women,
go,
it could
he
be
looks
like,
good, but he's 38. He looks good, but he's 35
Yeah.
when I'm 27. Because you can't 27 with gray hair, cuz. I
Yeah,
mean,
I guess.
it's too young. Like, I hear you, and there's a decent chance that when I hit like 35 or 40,
put it in
I let it go.
perspective. There's fucking 27-year-olds that are OD balding in their hair. So I mean, like, if you put it in perspective with someone who's balding or having gray, you're like, fuck that shit. Yeah, my
Yeah.
shit is gray. I
Yeah,
don't
no,
like
balding
this
is
dude
way
over
worse.
here is balding.
Yeah, balding is way worse.
Like
And
my shit in the front, I'm like is like thinning out
No.
over here and shit.
it looks no, I don't think so.
But like you could start seeing like scalp, and I'm like,
Yeah.
we spoke about. I was like, yo, is there like Propecia shit or something that like stops it from growing? Because like I'm about to hop on that shit.
Yeah, no, the Propecia is not a bad idea. You know, I feel like I'm getting a little bit of loss too.
Nah.
Like I get Rogaine foam every once in a while, and I
Yeah, but like
throw
you
it in
can
there.
you
But
can
I never
tell-
stick to it.
Like I don't know who listens to your show from like New York City, but if you're on the train like commuting to New York City and you see dudes who like are young,
Yeah, you can really
tell
yeah.
like when someone's shit is like really going.
Balding is way worse than going gray. I'll
Yeah.
give you that for sure, 100%.
And
But-
I'm not letting my shit rock with the hair and the back patch. Like
Yeah, I was
my
gonna
shit's
say
going.
there's no almost. It feels like a problem they should have fixed already.
Yeah.
but they don't. And part of that is because of how people lose their hair. You don't just wake up and all of it's gone, and then you could go and get it fixed. Over time it goes
Yeah,
away.
yeah.
So let's say you go and get hair plugs or something, or you go get the Bosley surgery where they
Yeah,
put your
yeah.
own hair there. But if you do it only halfway through your hair loss, well, okay, then those hairs will grow back, but you're going to lose the other ones, and you're going to be right back to square one.
Yeah.
So then you have to go again to get it done. And like you said, that whole process is the back of your head.
Yeah.
There's like a scar there. Like people,
'Cause the
they
hair
have
goes
to
from
take
there
the
to
hair
the-
from back there and put it up there, and you get like a scar back there.
It's crazy that just over time, like shit like that, like happens.
Yeah,
you know, like
it's your body falling apart. Like people
or
try
wrinkles. Like you don't really have any wrinkles, but like my shit is wrinkled on my
to.
forehead.
No, I
like,
don't see wrinkles. No, you're
bro,
right.
I'm telling. And even like my fiance Molly will be like, "You're getting OD wrinkles."
Let me
Like,
tell you something, man. I've heard from multiple people, whether through Twitter or people who I know from the show, who we communicate every once in a while. They're like, "Bro, my girlfriend thinks corn's hot, man."
Nah.
I'm just telling you what they say. So you're sitting here like, my wrinkles, I'm losing hair. That's not true. Like,
It
for,
just
at,
sucks,
least,
like-
at least me with my fucking gray hair, like, I actually have been dyeing it since fucking 88.
Yeah, but
you
it's
know?
not bad,
But the
like-
thing is, I hear you. Like, when I hit maybe 35 or 40, I might just let it go
Mm-hmm.
because it is a little bit of a pain in the ass. Like, when you start out, it's like, it's whatever. Because every 2-3 weeks, it's like shampooing your hair, whatever. But then after a while, it's like, I gotta do this shit again.
Yep.
And it starts to grow back faster and faster and faster. And you're like, I don't
That's
know.
like with everything. Like you wear nice ass clothes and shit because you want to get like done up, and then eventually, or putting makeup on for like girls, and then eventually you're just like, man, fuck this. I just want to wear some sweats. And
Yeah.
like so, like with the hair, it's just like, fuck it. Like,
Yeah, no, I hear you. But I don't know if I start going bald, which Knock on wood. I don't know
Yeah,
because
that
I know
happened.
my mom's dad had a hair loss. My dad didn't know.
That's what it is, right? It's the mom's father.
I think
hear.
that's a myth, though. Like
really?
that it maybe it's true. I don't know, but I think it's one of those things people say it like it's scientific, but then when you talk to scientists, they're like, "No,
Yeah, it's
it's
just
made up."
Yeah.
But like, I hope that's not true because he did go bald. I think he was losing his hair. My dad was pretty good. Like he started thinning in his older age, but he never really lost it. If I start losing, I don't know what I want to do because I am vain enough where I know I can't pull off a bald look.
Yeah.
Like there's some dudes who could pull off bald.
Yeah.
You said some
Yeah.
dudes could pull off great. Dude, some dudes could pull off bald, where you look at them and you're like, oh, this is just a dude.
The fucking Rock had hair for mad long, and then he was just like cut his shit straight bald. And I'm just like, all right, he rocks with him. Like,
Yeah,
he's got
and
like a
he's
bald
also
type. He is also
super muscular.
so no one's gonna tell him
yeah.
like that his shit looks whack.
Yeah,
Anyway.
and women are going to look at that instead of his bald-ass head, but there are some dudes who could pull it off. I don't know if I'm one of those dudes, though.
Yeah, I got a misshaped head also.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just I'm not saying this to be offensive or anything, but I look like I have leukemia if I shave my head. That's fucked up to say, but it's true.
No, yeah, I mean, yeah, it could be.
And we're
possible.
also super white.
Yeah, it just wouldn't be a good
It's just
look.
not a good look. I like how we got off on this as we were talking about fucking. Okay, so let me move on to the next one here because this is really interesting too. So remember the awesome Nickelodeon Studios?
Oh yeah, man.
With the cool look and everything. Like,
Yeah.
first of all, the fact that they dumped all that money into it to make it look like that makes you think they're keeping this shit forever.
That
now
or there's
looks
some like
this.
shady shit going on the inside.
Yeah, selling
gotta
drugs,
distract-
crystal meth to
like,
kids or some
yeah.
shit. Look at that.
What
That's
is
what it looks like
that?
now. It's just, that's the building now. It's just a
Just
normal
like
ass
an
building.
office building, or is
It's
it
just-
still like Nickelodeon shit?
No,
though?
it says your beloved Nickelodeon Studios is now a GD office building.
Oh man,
Yeah.
that was the shit at Universal Studios.
I
dude.
know it's gone, man. That's like, and I don't know when the fuck that happened. Like, it annoys me that I can't tell you, oh yeah, that was in 07 with the thing and the thing.
Now to think of it, I went to Universal Studios. I don't know how. It must have been like 4 or 5 years ago. But I was like, I want to go back to that like awesome building, and
gone,
it
dog.
wasn't there. I don't think it was this one yet, but it definitely wasn't like that like bright orange sign and like. Oh, that brings back so much.
I know,
memories,
it was
dude.
just so great, man. My favorite show of all time is still Keenan and Kel.
Yeah.
Because I'm still...
I remember I got to see the studio. Like they showed the
Really?
store
You
that
saw their
like
studio?
that
That's
like
fucking awesome.
generic white like grocery guy Chris or whatever.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, he used to fucking
First
pick
of
on
all,
that dude. so
dude
much.
is probably so creepy in his personal life.
Yeah, he definitely
Like,
is.
there's a high percentage chance he's doing some illegal shit. You know?
like selling like weird orange soda to kids.
Yeah, I could come in the back of my van. I got something to show you. All right, so for the Now Music thing, which I don't know, maybe I bought one or two of
I
those.
think I bought 1 or 2 also.
Yeah, Now That's What I Call Music Volume 1 was released 17 years ago.
Damn.
And now Volume 55 came out this year.
They're still making those.
I was going to say, who makes CDs still?
But 55, that's like the fucking Fast and Furious movies.
I know, really. And how do you get 55 in a 17-year time span? Somebody do the math on that. You're releasing a lot per year. Like, what are you doing?
I feel like it would be more than 55, no? If they
No, because 17 years, I figure maybe you release one once a year, then you have one a year. 17, there'd be 17 of them. You'd be
Yeah,
on
but they
volume
do like
17.
holiday versions and all that
Yeah,
shit.
I don't know. I didn't know.
Yeah, so
like
if
I
someone,
know
like,
that I've heard this
calculated
shit.
like every holiday.
Yeah. Oh, I guess.
like,
I mean,
you
yeah.
know?
If you do like 4 times a year or some shit.
Yeah.
That's still weird. Like, what do you do? What do you just churning out that shit? And it's probably creepy as to who owns it. Like, all they're doing is leeching off of the most popular music of the day. Like,
Yeah.
they didn't make it. Like, what are you doing? Like, I don't know. I just compile all the music I like and then I release it as Now. Well, that does so anybody knows what songs are hot and can put them together. Like, what are you doing? That's
Yeah.
kind of creepy. All right,
Now 55.
Boy Meets World, Corey and Topanga. It's been 16 years since Boy Meets World
Holy shit.
got married. Okay, so the show is even older than that, but it's been 16 years since they got married. So that's like towards the end, I guess, of their
Yeah,
show.
yeah, because
It's
he
been
started
16
mad
years since
young.
that shit was on air. 16 fucking years. That's crazy, son. And
It's like, oh, that one I saw
yeah.
just recently.
So Saved by the Bell. It's been 25 years since Jessie had her caffeine freak out.
that was such a classic episode.
It was a classic
dude.
episode, but they could have picked a better drug. But
I
they
know,
had to
yeah,
keep
yeah.
it like PC for the kids, man.
If
Like,
you-
oh, I'm addicted to caffeine. Corin, I shit you not, I literally just took a caffeine pill before you came. Like, I take those all the time.
They
She
made it
takes
like it
like
was the
3 of
end of
them.
the
And she,
world.
oh, I'm addicted to caffeine. No, you're not. You're
Oh.
fucking. So you're tired. What are
Yeah,
you saying? What are you
yeah.
doing?
What? Like that's like drinking 3 coffees or something like that. It's not that bad.
Yeah, if they really had balls, they would have made it like Vicodin or some shit.
And then
Gee, I hurt my back 5 years ago. I can't stop taking it. She's crying to Zach.
well, it led to her starting to like strip and stuff like that. So
Oh, right. What was that
the
movie?
I think it was
The
like
Dirty
Striptease
Dancing or something?
shit.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, Dirty Dancing I think is a different one, right? That's another
That's
famous
where he
one.
catches her in the air when she goes like running full speed.
Is that the Swayze?
Yes,
dude?
yeah,
Okay, yeah. Okay, so Home Alone also came out 25 years
Wow.
ago. That makes no sense. Bart Simpson, if he aged normally, would be 36 today.
They got a picture of him.
Yeah, they got a
on there.
picture of him with a 5 o'clock shadow and a tattoo.
He's got like a white beater on, just chilling.
Tommy Pickles would be 25.
Damn,
So basically
man.
our age, a little younger than me. Those Disney tapes, the last time they were released.
Those used to be the shit.
It's been a decade since they made those.
It was always like that thick,
Yeah.
thing, like the white cassettes open up.
I'm sure everybody listening knows what you're talking about, like the like nicely decorated
Yeah.
VHS cover and stuff. 10 years ago, so that actually wasn't that. Like I wouldn't be surprised if this was longer ago because it says Bambi 2 was released in 2006 with the VHS. I didn't in 2006 to have a VHS is like that really is the end of the end, you know?
Yeah,
like
it
I
must
feel
have
like
really been dying down
DVD
then.
came out like and was big like then.
Damn.
I don't care about that one. Britney Spears has been a mom for 10 years. Remember with Kevin Federline and
Yeah,
shit?
yeah.
Remember when he got super fat?
Yeah,
That
like
was
long
random.
hair and just like was really fat.
Yeah. And then 15 years since that Gwen Stefani Eve song came out. Let Me Blow Your
Wow.
Mind. That doesn't feel like 15 years ago. That feels like you could have told me it was 7 years ago. I'd be like, yeah,
Yeah.
7 years ago. Squeeze It. You remember Squeeze It?
Yeah.
Squeeze
Oh my
It.
God.
If you haven't been able to buy Squeeze It for over 14 years. That one I literally didn't believe when I read it because I used to get Squeeze It all the time. It's basically just sugar water.
Yeah.
But it's fucking great. And I remember having that. Because it was always a treat. I remember having it and thinking this is a treat.
That shit just tasted like pure, just like
Pure sugar.
Like that's like having 3 of those is worse than Jesse Spano drinking the caffeine pills
100%.
on the episode.
Having one of those is probably worse
Yeah.
than the caffeine pill.
Imagine Zach like, you drink and squeeze it. And she's
I
like,
think you
I'm
and I-
so excited.
I think you and I probably have latent diabetes from drinking Squeeze-Its.
Oh my God.
Like the amount of sugar that was just pumped into our veins. You might as well have given us like an IV of
Yeah.
sugar and just pumped it in there. But 14 years ago was the last time you could get that. Now, Fruitopia, they say you haven't been able to buy it for 12 years.
Fruitopia.
But that's just in the U.S., I think. I'm pretty sure it's elsewhere. Like
It's,
some places still
yeah,
have it.
That happens a lot of the times. Like
Yeah.
something dies down here, but in another country, it's like the shit still.
People trying to copy our shit.
Yeah.
U.S. Our old shit, people are like, we want Fruitopia here.
Yeah.
Like, we haven't had that in 12 years. They're
They
like,
used
"We
to have
want
like
it now."
Fruitopia vending machines, I think, in some of
I
our
remember
schools,
that.
right?
And they were actually kind of hot, like really colorful.
Yeah.
Just to see that's how big of an idiot I am. If I see like colors, I'm like, I gotta go to that shit. I gotta go to that shit. Like there was back in the day, we used to play some Hot Pursuit video game, and they would be. This is how stupid I am. There's like a big ass bright arrow that would point to the direction you're supposed to go in. And I remember I would always drive into the shit, into the arrow, because it was so bright. So I
Yeah,
would
you
just
just,
think, like,
like,
I gotta
wanna
go to
go
that
to it.
shit. It's
Yeah.
bright. But the arrow was clearly saying, no, go
Like,
to the
go
left
to the-
of this.
yeah.
Go this way. That's how dumb I am. I'm basically like a human gnat. Like I'm a bug that goes to the light. I don't know if you ever had a party at Discovery Zone, the birthday party place.
I'd been to so many.
They all closed in 99.
Jeez.
99. That wasn't even fucking 2000 yet, son. That's crazy.
There's probably so much like staph infection and shit all over those
Oh, I'm
like
sure.
rides and games and
Yeah, those balls that they have, like
Yeah,
the
yeah, the
ball
ball
pits
pit.
and like McDonald's, they say those are the dirtiest fucking things
there's like
ever.
semen and stuff in there.
Hope not that.
Or
But
like little kids are shitting in there and like
it's just gross. It's weird when you actually learn about what are the more gross things. Like kitchen countertops are actually
Yeah.
more
I heard about
are
that
worse
too.
than like a toilet seat.
Yeah.
Like your ass cheeks are fucking much cleaner than
Well, because there's like raw meat on there and
Yeah,
stuff like
all
that,
that
and all
shit.
like E. coli or whatever.
yeah.
But
Whereas
if you think about like how back when we used to go to like McDonald's and play in the playpen, like when we were young and shit like that, like those shits must have been so dirty and
Yeah, I know.
disgusting. And now like everybody's bugged out about like just little germs. Like we're fine, like,
yeah.
But like how dirty they must have been. Like
Totally.
sweaty ass kids like
Totally.
running through that shit with no shoes on and like their feet all in it. And then,
No,
like,
I don't think people get like the fact that kids are dirty, dude.
Yeah.
Like they're just flat out dirty. Like I remember my niece and nephew, who I love to death. They're great. But like the first 2 or 3 times that like I was with them, I got sick.
Yeah.
And I remember telling my mom, like, why is this happening? She's like, well, I mean, it might just be, you're around the kids, and they have like they're supposed to have, since they're kids, like stronger immune systems, I think. Well, actually, no, that might be wrong. It might be the opposite. It might be super weak immune systems. Yeah, because I think it's just their organs are functioning perfectly. Like they say, when a baby comes out, the heart's 100%. Like, oh, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like all that stuff. But like, I just got sick, and I'm like, why is it? Like, well, the kids were here. I'm like, what? Seriously? Like that's how it works? Like you were just around a kid, so now you're sick. Like what the fuck, man?
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, like that's how being in all that dirty shit builds up their immune system, probably. Whereas, like now, if you don't put your kids in germs and always sanitizing their hands and stuff, they like get. I'll shut the fuck up now.
All right,
I had a good point in my head,
dude. I've done. People could. I mean, I'm not sure how much of it is on YouTube, but certainly on the live show, I'll be talking, and then my brain just goes, and I'm like, oh. Anyway, moving on here.
No, but my point is just like you need kids to like lick the ground and shit like that, so they can like get like immune to like and not be allergic to everything because they're like they build up their immune system when they're like.
There is some truth to that. Like they need to get sick with something once, and then they build up the immunity to it, and then later on. They have the antibodies for it, so they can fight it. Yeah. But you don't literally want them licking pavement. That'd be fucked up. All right. The Britney Spears song, Oops, I Did It Again.
When was that?
Is older than today's high school freshman.
Older than today's high school freshman.
So if somebody's in high school today and they're freshmen and you say, the song Oops, I Did It Again? It would be a song that came out before they were born. Like, they might know it, but they'd be like, oh, that's a really old song.
Yeah. Or they probably wouldn't even know it. Like
I'm sure some wouldn't even know it.
You'd be so surprised. Like my brother teaches kids that are, I think, in like they might be like 7th or 8th grade, but he does references to like Back to the Future or like what was that? Like if they came out with a Back to the Future movie now, like just exactly the same as like when we saw it, kids would be like, "Oh, that movie looks hot!" Like a kid's going to the future and have no idea that like there was a Back to the Future.
It's so weird.
They got rid of that ride at Universal Studios.
Did they get rid of the Jaws one too? Because that shit was hot as fuck.
I feel like I don't know about the Jaws one,
it was
but
so
like
real when I went as a kid.
The King Kong one they got rid of.
Really? They got rid of all these? These are all classics.
They like replaced Back to the Future with like a Simpsons ride. King Kong was the Mummy Returns roller coaster, which was like the wackiest movie that I feel like. Did people like that movie? Remember that? Like the Mummy.
I know
and the Mummy
it certainly
Returns?
didn't catch on as much as like King Kong and the other shit.
No, and it got its own like ride.
That's crazy. That's fucking crazy.
Like the Mummy, dude.
It's weird the way that fame works, because if you talk somebody right now who's like 45, let's say, they will have people who in their mind are super duper famous, and they'll bring them up to you, and you'll be like, "Who?"
Yeah.
And that's what you're describing also with younger kids. If you bring up these movies and stuff, they'll be like, "I don't know what you're talking about."
Which is sad because it's like
it's weird because it shows you how subjective people are. Where like we're all tied to what our shit was. But like if you go a little bit older, a little bit younger, the fame level switches completely. Like there are people who I was watching a podcast with that guy Joey Diaz, who's a comedian who's hilarious, and like he was talking about some old ass baseball player. He was like a second level, second tier baseball player. But to him, he was totally famous. He's like, I saw him on the plane one time. I turned into a little kid. I was talking to him or whatever. Nobody else on the plane knew who the fuck he was.
Yeah.
Nobody on the plane.
Yeah.
And, that's like a wake-up call to be like, oh, my God, that person's super famous to me because they remind me of my childhood and the team that I liked when I was younger.
That was like
But this is somebody who nobody else really knows. A very small percentage of the people. You know what I mean? So it's like everything is... There are people who... Jenna Marbles is way more famous than fucking Justin Timberlake. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's because
that's their context.
Well, that's why there's so many discrepancies in like people liking types of music and stuff. Where it's like I could be like, not that like I think like Drake has great lyrics or something like that, but I could be like, man, like he actually has great lyrics, blah blah. And where I'll say that's like my dad or something. He'll be like, man, do you know like like
Yeah.
Dion and the Belmonts back in like this like the 60s. Like
Yeah.
now that's music. You know,
Exactly.
where I'm like, okay, like
Yeah.
and like he totally shuts off to like newer stuff.
Right.
And I could appreciate his stuff, but like
Nah, you're more shut off to it.
yeah, I'm more shut off to it, but like to him those guys are rock stars.
Exactly.
To me, these guys are rock stars.
And
like,
if his people were walking through an airport,
yeah.
only a tiny percentage of them would be like, "Oh, that's Dion and the Belmonts."
Yeah, where my dad would be like, "Oh, it's Dion."
like, "Oh my god, yeah, no,
like,
yeah." It's like same thing with, and it's weird how it works in cycles too. Like for us, the hot boy bands, NSYNC, Backstreet Boys. Now it's One Direction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You see One Direction, people fucking lose their shit.
Dude, if like
Bieber's
a young
way bigger
teenage
than
girl
Backstreet Boys.
saw like all of Backstreet Boys and NSYNC like walking together
Some of them
in the
would-
mall,
wouldn't know.
would just be like, "Oh, they're like old guys." Like,
Yeah.
if we saw them, I'd be like, "Yo, I need a photo."
Yo,
like,
that's
you
JC
were like, yeah, like.
Meanwhile, he hasn't done shit since like 05.
Someone told me last night, Joey Fatone or whatever, wrote like a op-ed piece to like One Direction, because they were splitting up, and he was like, "Like, what are you doing?" He's just like, "Look at me now. Like, yeah, I'm really successful, huh? I'm doing like
Really?
dyeing your hair promos and every like." He's like, "Don't break up." Like,
You know what's funny? My sister knows Joey Fatone.
and that's what I told the person
Yeah.
last night. I was like, "He's actually like a mad chill,
Yeah,
chill
yeah,
dude."
yeah.
My boy's sister, like he chills in
super
Staten
upfront.
Island, like
He's super up. Like first of all, my sister obviously similar generation as us,
Yeah.
so it's like she was also
that's like
loved
her
NSYNC.
idol.
So she had to like calm herself down internally a little bit. But he introduces himself. He's like, "Hey, Joey Fatone. I'm the guy from NSYNC."
She's like, "Yeah, I know."
My sister's like, "Oh, cool. But
He used
like,
to
it
have
was a
that
barbecue.
GS
She was
Superman
hanging out.
necklace. Remember that? He rocked like he always had like a awesome like
First of all,
Superman.
even in NSYNC,
necklace.
he was the oldest one by a mile and a half.
Really?
Oh yeah, like when NSYNC was happening, I think he was like 58. he was old. He was old originally in NSYNC. So then, like now he's super old.
But it's
yeah,
like all the time that goes into like an old athlete being really good at what they were good at,
Yeah.
and a kid now not knowing anything about them.
that's a little bit depressing.
Yeah.
Because think about it. In order for you to be remembered, you just simply have to be one of the top 10 of all time.
Yeah.
Like, or at the very least, top 10 in your era. Like.
But even like a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar or like Barry Sanders, like like
Barry Sanders kind of just missed the cut.
Yeah.
Like, I think Kareem made it by a little bit, but
even,
Barry Sanders
but even
missed it.
like young awesome basketball players now will be like, it's just the old dude, like.
Look,
But
so
it's like
here,
that
let
dude
me put
was
this in
dominating.
perspective. There's literally no way that 10 years from now or 20 years from, certainly 20 years from now, nobody's going to know who the fuck J.R. Smith is.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to know who the fuck Nick Young is.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to know who Lou Williams is. Like, these are people who they're good.
But even to a certain extent, now Tiger is on another level.
No, you're going to know his name forever. You're, going to know
his
Kobe's name forever.
But you're not. I feel like
No, they're not
his
going to be able to fully
accomplishments-
appreciate
his,
it.
Yeah, his
Of
accomplishments
course.
get like diminished a
totally.
little bit.
Right now, people don't even fully appreciate what Tiger went through.
Yeah.
Because Tiger's struggling so much now, and because he had fucking 2 back surgeries since the end of this season, which
Yeah.
was a shitty season, like people are already downplaying, he's done, which might actually be true, but the fact of the matter is, if you look at from 1997 when he burst onto the scene until 2009, he dominated golf like nobody else, but not
Yeah,
Jack
on
Nicklaus.
another level.
Even Jack Nicklaus, he blew Jack Nicklaus out of the water because how he was trending when he was beasting. There was a time in 2007 where he won 7 tournaments in a row. Do you have any idea how hard that is in golf?
Yeah.
Because golf is you're playing with a field of over 70 people, and it's a game against yourself, and that's just not. Anybody who knows golf knows that's not something you can do.
Yeah.
Like you could go out there and play golf one day and play really well. Like I'm a decent golfer. There's times I've gone out there shot like 73 or something. Just had a great round. Next day you come out there, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. You shoot 85.
And,
like,
and you're competing against like 70 other guys. One guy could be having the day of his life.
Exactly.
And like he avoided all of those things.
And not only that, but when you look at the fact that he won 4 majors in a row, when you
Yeah.
look at the fact that when he did win, he blew out fields by 13 strokes, 14 strokes, which is not
stupid.
something anybody ever does.
Yeah.
So, but you're right in that I know this because I'm a student of golf. I know a lot about it. But other people just be like, okay, yeah, Tiger Woods, whatever. It's
The
like
name
Mike
rings
Tyson,
a bell.
too.
Yeah.
Like, people forget that Mike Tyson, when he was on his shit,
Yeah.
it was like, oh my God, Mike
Yep.
fucking Tyson.
Yep.
But now he's that guy who's like the gentle giant, who's a little crazy,
that's what's
who's
sad
in
is, like,
fucking the movie, whatever.
People,
The Las
Hangover or
Vegas
whatever.
Hangover
yeah.
movie, yeah.
That it's sad that they sort of become like a laughing stock, you know? Like you look at Kobe now, you know,
Yeah.
in like his 20th season, and it's like, it's almost to a point where like players probably like, oh, I got Kobe tonight, you know, or it's like, no,
so
like,
sad, yeah.
I mean,
Because
maybe they do it to themselves. 'Cause
that
they
he
keep
was
playing.
still amazing.
Yeah.
Like,
But what's supposed to happen? Are you supposed to like, I mean, like
it's just
Derek
a cycle
Jeter,
of
like,
life, dude. It's just a cycle of life. Like, there's nothing. I mean, think about it. A guy like Kobe put it off longer than think about this. Him and Tracy McGrady started about the same time.
yeah,
Tracy McGrady was done by like 09. Just done. Mm-hmm. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 6
still
years
going.
later,
Yeah,
not only was Kobe going, but he still had not been officially relegated to like you're coming off the bench and you're going to be a bitch.
yeah.
You know? He kept it going so long in a sport that's a contact sport, which is a super high pace sport. He's 37, 38 years old, and he's playing professional basketball?
Yeah.
They're so, you were saying it yourself, they're so fast out there on the floor.
I
They
know.
could literally run circles around a guy like Kobe now. And what's so sad is that I watched the first game that he came back. Mm-hmm. He had over 20 points. His shooting percentage sucked balls.
Yeah.
But he had over 20 points. I was like, oh, Kobe's Kobe. Like, he's doing it again. I can't believe he's doing it again. This is amazing. Mm-hmm. But then every single game after that, just throwing up terrible shots, chucking them up, scoring
But I think
8
the great
points.
ones, and people will appreciate you more. Like it even works with anything. Whereas like John Stewart got to a point where he started to realize like there's up and coming kids now. Like there's new fresh faces, people with different ideas. Like let me take a back seat now, you know. Whereas like Kevin Garnett's sort of doing it. He's like, I'm coming off the bench. I'm a mentor. Whereas like people start to make you a laughing stock when you're still trying to do what you were doing.
No, I'm of the Allen Iverson mold, man.
Just like never, like
Yeah, no.
always had that
I'm
mindset.
gonna ride
Like I'm
that
the
bitch
fucking.
into the rocks, man.
Really?
I'm gonna ride that bitch into the rocks.
But like, so if John Stewart just kept rocking it out every year and kept
John
doing his
Stewart,
shit, like
he left because he wanted to.
Yeah.
So he might be a bad example. I get what you're saying, but I think he's a bad example because he would have still been number one. He still would have been a beast. No matter
really,
how long
even
he
with
stayed
like
that
new
show.
shit, with like your
100%.
shit or John Oliver one day
No,
or
100%.
something like that.
Because first of all, what he does from somebody like me is totally different. He's actually a comedian first and a political commentator second. And he's always been great in the ratings. Anytime you go to any somewhat news affiliated website, they'll always have his shit up after a good show that he does. So he would have maintained on top forever.
Like, even
basically.
to a certain extent, like I watch Bill Maher's shit now, and I'm like Colbert's shit is hotter maybe sometimes, you know, or like John Oliver's funnier sometimes, like, and I'm like,
Yeah, it's tough.
Bill
man.
Maher, like you got to start picking it up again, like
Yeah, it's
he's
tough.
still, you know, like
No, I hear you. It's hard. I mean, no matter what you do, and think about it. What we're talking about is a field where it's easier to hang on because you're just talking.
yeah,
You know, and like you still could have good points when you're 64. You know, so
yeah, that's a good
but
point,
you're
too.
right that it's hard. There's a lot of it is subjective, but there is certainly something there when you see somebody falling off a little bit. You know, I sensed it with Bill Maher in like 08 where he kind of fell off a tad, but I think he bounced back. Now, maybe you're right. Maybe he's going through another slump or whatever, but yeah, I mean, the thing is, I hate what you're saying is more practical. Like at a certain point, you got to bow out and let the next ones come up. That's certainly more practical, but what made these people great in the first place was the opposite of that. Was the fact that they always said,
killer
I'm the
instinct,
fucking
yeah.
man and I'm gonna fucking do this no matter. When the odds are against them more, that's the more they're like, fuck you.
Yeah.
I mean, Tiger right now, Tiger had a second back surgery since leaving, this past season. He had one and then they had to go back in because he still had discomfort. And his fucking thing that he released, his statement was like, this is not worse than any other thing we've gone through here. We're gonna come out and bounce back. Now that might not be true. But the fact that he's thinking that
He's still got
shows
that
you that
mentality,
that's
yeah.
who Tiger Woods is.
yeah.
You know? Whereas everybody else in the world could look at him and go, all right, dude. All right, what are you doing? You know, what are you doing here, buddy?
Yeah.
But see, that's the thing. Every step of the way, people were saying that anyway. So in his mind, it's 100% that they're wrong. I mean, think of it. When his dad died, people were like,
Doubting him
you're
and
not
shit,
gonna
right?
be
Yeah.
the same. Your fucking dad died. He was everything to you. He came. That's when he won 7 tournaments after his dad died, 7 in a row. When he got a divorce and had the scandal, people were like, "Dude, you're never gonna be the same." Came out in 2013, which is like 2 years after the scandal. Dude, he
got, like,
was
fourth
player of
in
the
the
year.
Masters or
He won
something
like
like that,
5
yeah.
tournaments in that year. He was player of the year.
Yeah.
So this idea, when he changed his swing multiple times, every time people were like, "Dude, why would you change your swing? You just won the Masters by 12 strokes." And then when the changes kicked in, not only did he win again, he was more dominant than ever. So there's this thing that goes on in the mind. He's just one example, but in the mind of all the people who are the beasts, who are like,
I still got it.
I still got it no matter what. No matter what. Even if I'm having, like, in Kobe's mind, there's a good chance, even though he does know on some level this is the end, in his mind, there's something that's saying, you're Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
Like, you think you don't have another good 2 years in you? Like, you got a good 2 years in you. You can put this team on your back and you can carry them to the playoffs. This is the thought process that goes on in somebody who's ridiculous.
Yeah. But I don't get what Tiger is like. Does he play that much more, like, with that much more intensity than, like, how's a guy like Tom Watson every year, like, just old as fuck, still, like, just makes it up and down the course, this and that, never really, like,
So,
does Tiger swing harder, or is he more, like...
Yeah, injury has a lot to do with it. So Tiger was the first of the generation of golfers he's the one that started out working out really hard.
Yeah.
He gets up and runs miles every morning, he works out with weights all the time, and he's doing deadlifts, all types of shit like that. And when you do that, and people, I mean, golf, people kind of mock golf because like you could be fat fuck and play, which is true. You could be somebody like John Daly and play. But people forget that these guys, if you're playing tournaments 4 days a week, which that's how long they are, 4 days, then you have one practice round on top of that and one pro-am on top of that. You're playing 6 out of 7 days. And every day you're walking the entire course, which is 18 holes, which is a lot. If you don't think that's difficult, if you're out of shape, go try to walk 18 right now. It ain't easy.
Yeah.
So when you mix that in with working out all the time, lifting weights, running all the time, and then on top of that, yeah, he is. I mean, he's the first of that generation they're explosive. So his golf swing is not like the old school smooth golf swings of, like, you know, you just kind of slap it out there.
Yeah.
You know, it's an athletic motion where he rips it. You know, he swings from the top real hard. He, in a page in his book about how he plays golf back in the day when the first one he released, he says he snaps his left knee at impact to get more distance. And he didn't even realize
like it hurts.
He didn't even realize it at the time. That led him to need multiple knee surgeries. Because you can't just snap your knee like that and repeat it. It's just not a natural motion. And that mixed with all the injuries, mixed with the years and years of play. I mean, he started playing in 97 and he's dominated since then.
Yeah.
97 was a long time ago, dog. That's a long fucking time ago. And, you know, even in a sport like golf where your shelf life is really long, that adds up.
Yeah.
I mean, you know,
It'll catch up.
Yeah, for sure. All right. I want to see if there's any more here, and I'll throw them out, the BuzzFeed thing, and then I got some other stuff I want to move on to. Who cares? Backstreet Boys ages. Blink-182 is fucking 40. Teen People stopped in 2006. Destiny's Child in 11 years. Oh, there's one more I think I want to get to. Let me scroll down. Oh, there it is. Will Smith is now older than Uncle Phil was on Fresh Prince.
Oh my God.
That's unbelievable. Because you never stop thinking of Will as the Fresh Prince.
Yeah.
You just never
He's just always like that kid, with the backwards hat. Like,
now What's your take on Jaden? What do you think of Jaden?
I think he's just like lost, dude.
Yeah,
I see him at like concerts and just like, or these award shows, and he like tries to be like trendy, like holding up like
the Kanye thing,
like a Black Power sign, or like just like trying to be.
What does Will Smith think when he sees that? When he sees his kid, like, Kanye,
he needs to just be like, yo, like snap out of it. You got to just be on some like Philly, like just keep it cool.
But he might think that like anything he says, Jaden's going to do the opposite, and he might be right. Like, you know what I mean?
Someone needs to just shake Jaden and just be like, yo, your dad's... Just watch Fresh Prince of Bel-Air every season. Just be that guy, and you'll be all right. Like, stop trying to be the...
want to be. That's why he's acting weird.
I know.
feel like he's rebelling from his dad's like obvious like superior, over-the-top, awesome personality.
I hate like seeing his shit because it's just like he's trying to be the face of like every movement and like every trendy like...
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I hear you. You're right. I feel bad for him because he's a kid, though. You know, like he doesn't know what he's doing. He's just
like
he's
lost
just going through
puppy.
a phase.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's I see him like that too.
Like, let me put my hair this way, or like, and it's just like stop trying and just seeing what's gonna stick.
He did that movie with Will Smith, which
was
good for what it was. Like, it obviously wasn't supposed to be like a crazy amazing movie where they're on a spaceship or some shit. Oh, he might have done that too. Bless you.
I didn't see the spaceship one where he was with him.
Yeah, I saw that, and I mean, I went into it expecting it to be just kind of like what it was, so it was worth watching, I think. But like ever since then, it's been like I'm gonna rebel completely, and you know,
it's crazy to see. Like Will Smith now. I know the movie he's doing, like Concussion or whatever. They probably made him look older because obviously the role he's playing is like a doctor who figures out concussions. But he just looks old, and I'm like, damn. Even Will Smith is like getting old.
I didn't even see the
Yeah, they got
for
like
that.
trailers and stuff.
I'll
and
take
like,
a look at it after this.
I'm just like, damn, man. Like Will Smith's looking old.
He's
Like,
up there, right?
I know.
mean, how old is he? He's in his 40s, obviously.
he could be. Who knows? Maybe he's in like his hitting. If he's hitting 50 or something, then it's got to be 47 years.
47.
I mean, like, that's not old.
47, born West Philadelphia. All right. Yeah. It's crazy to think about that. He's
You know,
a
Uncle
fresh
Phil is
prince, man.
gay.
Uncle Phil's dead.
Okay.
Did you
Is
know
he
that?
really?
Yeah.
No.
He died. Yeah. I think he did. I'm pretty sure.
Did he?
I'm gonna type in Uncle Phil dead.
There's
Yeah,
definitely
death. There you go. Will Smith breaks silence on Uncle Phil death. Yeah.
Oh shit! I didn't know that.
Yeah, I remember it happened. It didn't happen that long ago. Yeah, in 2014.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I remember. I think I was kind of sad. I was like, oh, really, Uncle Phil? It sucks. I didn't know he was gay. No, I know the guy from the Brady Bunch was gay. The father from the Brady Bunch was
Really?
gay. Oh yeah, cocks all over the place, just sucking dicks left and right. Couldn't get enough. All right, let me. I know we don't have much time left, so let me get to some of the other stuff I wanted to talk about. Did I tell the story on air the first time I took Xanax? I'm pretty sure I did. I'm pretty sure you and I had that conversation.
I feel like I've heard it, but I would have to be like refreshed. I don't remember it exactly.
Okay. So everybody knows I enjoy recreational drugs every once in a while. So this was when I was working at the car dealership, and I asked somebody, or they said something to me about it, and I was like, "Oh, could I try it?" And they're like, "Yeah, sure." So somebody gave me the bar, like the Xanax bar, which
It was
is
like a candy bar.
no,
Like, I mean, like,
it's a nice. It's better than candy.
well,
No,
yeah,
it's like a
but,
bar that you can break up into like I don't know how many pieces, 3 or some shit like that.
so it's like a Kit Kat.
It's a little, tiny little fucking thing.
Uh-huh.
But the person told me, all right, look, you gotta, you break it up into 3s or 4, whatever the fuck it was. I don't remember how much you could break it up. They wanted me to break it up into pieces or something. I was like, all right, cool. So I went home that night. I was watching TV or some shit, and I was like, let me try this shit. And I just took the whole thing. Because I'm like, I know I can handle drugs. I mean, I'm not, and this is just one bar, so obviously
Yeah.
there are some people who are prescribed the whole bar, so whatever, it's gonna be fine. So I think I've told this story on air before, so some of you might have heard it, but I'm laying in bed and I'm like, yeah, I'm a little thirsty, I'm a little hungry, I'm gonna go upstairs and get something to eat. I felt fine, totally normal. So I go to walk to go upstairs. I got like to the stairs, and then I found myself crawling.
Really?
In my mind, I'm totally fine. Cause I'm like, my brain was functioning fine. Everything was functioning fine. My cognition was 100% there. Like, it's not like I was watching the TV zoned out and I couldn't focus because I'm so high, bro. No, everything was there. But like, my body was like, I'm not gonna let you walk. Like, what are you?
That's
what are you
weird.
doing? No, super weird. So like, I crawled upstairs. I got my drink and shit, and I came back down. And I was like, fucking stumbling in and shit. And I was like, wow, what a bizarre drug this is, man.
So you're like, in your mind, you're like, everything's fine,
100%.
but like,
Didn't feel high, didn't feel like, because oftentimes, and I knew this wasn't the effect of a drug like that, but you'll feel like euphoric with certain drugs,
Yeah.
you feel happy, whatever. But this was just like,
but just your body was just like, I'm not gonna let you like do anything.
the body was just rubber. It was just, like, you're just not going to function as well, because it is, I mean, it's like a fucking tranquilizer, basically. It's like an anti-anxiety
I wonder if
downer
that
drug.
like drug has like the same effect like when you're sleeping and you're trying to move and like you can tell yourself like I need to move right now.
No,
but
you're
like
talking about sleep paralysis.
yeah, but like maybe does that drug affect the same
No,
like
I don't.
like portion
I mean,
of somewhere?
It might affect the central nervous system or whatever, but sleep paralysis is a motherfucker.
You know,
I haven't had it
that's
much.
similar. Isn't that sort of similar to what you had?
No, because I can
it's like-
move. I can move. It was just
No,
gummy
but,
like.
but you're on like the out, like you can still think about what you want to do. Like so you can think about like, okay, my body is like rubber right now. I can't move, but you can't do anything about it.
No, but I could move. But you're talking about sleep paralysis where you literally can't move, which is scarier.
Yeah, but not to that sense. I'm saying like that you're thinking about what you can't, like so you were actually crawling and you could tell yourself like, all right, I need to stand up and walk now, but you couldn't like
No,
do it.
I
really.
gave up on that.
Oh,
Like I was like, I'm just gonna be crawling now. Totally accepted it. Like,
Yeah, whereas
this
the other
is
way,
what
I'm
I
just
do. I
like,
crawl. I don't see what the big deal is.
yeah.
I was like, it's just a matter of opinion. I just want to crawl. It's nothing. I'm just crawling up the stairs here. Have you had sleep paralysis a bunch or no?
Not a bunch, but it has
I've had it
happened.
maybe 3 times in
It's
my life.
fucking scary as shit, dude. I'm just like I'm dying right
You're
now.
like, yep, I'm awake and I can't fucking move.
Yeah,
Weird, man. How
It's
weird
so
is
weird.
that shit?
I hope
But
it doesn't
that goes
happen
to
to
show
everyone.
you how, it's obvious that like stuff like that happens, like real paralysis happens.
Yeah,
You can totally see how that happens once it happens to you. You're like,
Yeah.
okay, this is a little bit of what it's like. Oh shit. Because when you're a dumbass who doesn't think about it, you could just, look at somebody who has a certain illness and you're like,
yeah, like
get
why,
over it.
Yeah,
Like,
why,
what are you-
yeah, why
what
don't
are
you
you
just
doing?
do this instead?
But they can't. They literally can't. That's
yeah,
the point.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, that's
Or like,
scary, man.
you probably have done stories on it, like legit handicapped people who can't walk, and someone's just like, yeah, just get up and walk, like just do it, and you're just
Yeah.
like, no, you fucking idiot,
Yeah,
like,
you
just
can't.
can't.
You just
Like,
can't do it. You just can't do it. Let me tell you about my new obsession.
What?
I'm so embarrassed to admit this, but people know a little bit. I was tweeting about it the other night.
Like 2% of me wants you to say like Pokemon cards again, because I would just
No,
so
those
get
shits
into
are
that
hot.
shit with
No,
you.
I
right
love
now.
that.
Like,
I love Pokemon.
You're just like, I got
I'll
back
never
into
leave that.
Pokemon, like, and we just started playing like on the regular now.
It's funny how like little really cool things just automatically you get labeled a loser and like no girl wants to fuck you.
Fuck that.
Like if Magic the Gathering or some shit.
I never got into Magic.
I never got into it because I don't know how to play it.
Yeah,
but
that's
when I
true,
was a
too.
kid, my older cousins like played it and had the cards and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was always just obsessed with the cards because of the art on it.
Yeah.
It just looked awesome.
Yeah, it was like
and I
that
just wanted
brown.
to collect them.
Yeah, with
exactly.
like, yeah. My
And-
brother played Magic too, and just the other day I asked him, I was like, you used to play Magic? And he was just like, yeah, but I don't think I knew what the fuck I was doing. Like,
Nobody knows. Everybody does the same shit as us.
people
Look at the
listening to your
colors.
show, I'm so curious, like, if they actually played Magic the Gathering, if they knew, like, the extent of everything.
Complicated, yeah. it's
Because even if
complicated.
you knew Magic, there was still probably some other shit that the creators of it were like, they'll never unlock this way of
course. I think
understanding
so, yeah.
why the dragon. Blah, blah.
Definitely. And Pokemon, look, Pokemon is, that's got a place in my heart, dog. 'Cause
Yeah.
when we were younger, that was the shit for a while.
Yeah.
I had the video games. Remember how there was the blue video game and the red video game? And you asked people,
The yellow
"Which one
shit
you
was
got,
my
man?
shit,
Which
yeah.
one you got? You
Yeah.
got the blue, you got the red.
That's crazy. It was like a pill. Like, he was like,
Yeah.
you got the blue, the red. Like, get the
And
red.
then, but if you go back and look at the Game Boys and like how you played it on the Game Boy fucking technology is shitty as fuck.
Hell yeah. But me and you I would still be happy playing that
I
shit
play
right
that
now.
shit too. But like you got to think about like the way it works when you get into a Poke fight or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like you have 3 choices, like fucking peck his face or
Yeah.
whatever.
Pokemon was just like the dumb version of Magic. It's like, oh, you
Basically.
can't figure out Magic? We'll make this like little like animal game for you that you can like.
And it honestly came down to the people who created it were brilliant because they know kids. And
Yeah.
they're like, oh, well, this is how it's going to work. They're all going to literally want to collect all these different Pokemon. So, get the cards. The
We
cards
got
were
so
amazing.
caught up.
Son, I used to go to there's a place called Squiggy's.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, that was down in Rochelle by the barbershop, right?
Yup.
Yeah.
And I used to go in there and, this is back when I was a little kid. My poor mom, I'd make her buy me like the Pokemon cards that were in the plastic cases. Like, you know how they would go through the decks and find the expensive ones,
Yeah, like
the
the holographic
hologram
shit.
ones,
Yeah, yeah.
and then they put them in the thing. Those shits cost fucking 3 cents overall,
I
but they
know.
charge you like $50 for it.
Dude, people are paying like a Charizard or like, especially like they had like the first edition ones. They had
Yep.
like that little first edition sign on the left hand side of the card.
Yep.
You're so right. Those cards cost them a penny, if that.
And now they're probably worth nothing again. Like we
Yeah,
spent
they're
like $50, $100 on them.
I can't believe
they don't
that like
appreciate
it was
value
that,
as Pokemon.
Yeah,
Yeah, or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there is some sort of underground club where they're like,
I hope so
I'll
because
pay you,
I
like,
just found a
$8,000
Pokemon
for
book
it.
of like all like
I got my book too.
yeah, like Charizards, Venusaur, Blastoise. Yo, that was the shit.
I know. Remember when yo-yos were hot for like 18 seconds?
Yo-yos were hot.
There was the brain, which
Yeah,
now is dirty.
yeah.
Come to think of it, there was the fireball.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Well, and people used
that
to do
was
the
fun.
hot shit. Like someone would do it, and then they would take.
I used to
make
know
the
how
little,
to do all that.
like the little
Crats
triangle
in the cradle shit.
Yes.
I knew how to do all that shit.
There's so many different. If you remember, it wasn't lanyard, but it was that shit where you can. It was sort of like a plasticky feel, and you can make the like. You banded it together.
Oh
What the hell's
I don't know what it was called,
you
though.
like over, under, and then you pulled it, and then like over,
My
over.
sister used to make those bracelets
Yeah,
for
what
me.
the fuck was that?
I don't know what it was called.
There's a name to it.
I know there's people are gonna blow up the comment section like this. It was this.
Yeah, that was like you used to sit there with those two threads and like put them together. Like,
Yeah. No, man, there was a lot of great fucking things. How did we get on this?
I have no idea. No, but it goes with the topic of like 90s and shit.
Yeah,
like that.
no, but we started with something, but I totally lost track of what it was.
No idea where we started.
Yeah, I know.
On that.
I was talking about Xanax, and then we got into something, and then all of a sudden we're on all of our awesome childhood fucking. Yeah, it's weird how shit like that blows up. Like you have these little things that are just so hot for a brief amount of time, and then they fall off again. Like I wonder what the shit was for the kids in the generation just below us. Like the ones who were in high school when we were graduating college, basically. Like
Yeah.
how different was their experience from our experience? Because I know that my sister, who's like 3-4 years older than me, like at the time, 3 or 4 years was the world of difference. Like you're totally different.
Yeah.
But now that we're older, it's like that's nothing. Like you look at them, you're like, that's like you're basically the same. So I wonder how different it was for the ones who were younger than us.
Yeah, it is. Well, now they have like those like fucking hovering like things that J.R. Smith wrote on. That's like the new shit now.
I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah,
That's
like
how
where
old
you
I am.
stand. No, and you like stand on it. Like J.R. Smith came into the finals on that like hoverboard thing.
Oh, that's in some new shit?
Yeah,
I didn't
like
even know hoverboards are real.
Not like hoverboard, but like that. It's like a.
He's just making hand motions like I'm supposed to get it. Like, oh, right. That.
Did you see the finals when J.R. Smith came into like the locker room on like that like
I didn't-
fast-paced thing?
I certainly don't remember that.
Everybody like stands on it and you just like lean forward. It's like the Segway without the actual stick and like holding the shit.
That's weary. But that's
Yeah,
some
like
new
people
shit.
had that, but when we were growing up, it was like the Razor scooters.
Those were hot.
Everybody had a Razor scooter,
Those were
and those
hot.
were just like wheels. Now they have
Yeah.
like electronic floating shit.
Fuck the new ones. I turned to grandpa, man, I don't like the new ones. By the way, I figured out how I was getting there. I was going to tell you what my new obsession was. And this goes to show you how old I am now, how old we are.
Uh-huh.
Dude, fucking HGTV is addictive as fuck.
That's a
Home and
station,
Gardens
right?
TV.
Oh man,
I know that's some old shit.
Yeah, what
slash
shows
I'm
do
like
they have on
I'm
there?
like a woman in menopause or something right now.
what do you like on there?
No, there's everything.
Really?
you turn it on, guaranteed to enjoy the show. So there's one show called House Hunters where
Oh, I heard House. Yeah, I heard
people
House Hunters
go
is good.
to 3 different houses and they have to pick which one they want.
Uh-huh.
There's another one called Property Brothers where
There's like 2 guys, right, or something?
2 guys,
Yeah.
you know, one is the realtor, the other one does the renovation, but they find a shitty place and then they renovate it to make it look good. Like you would, in theory, I would have thought like, fuck you talking about? Like, why would I watch that?
Yeah.
But now that I'm actually kind of in the market for a place,
Yeah.
I want to get a place. Everybody, I mean, I don't know if I mentioned this on air before, but the idea is to get a place, get a studio in the place, which is nice.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
And just do it up like that. So since I'm in the market for a place like that, every time I watch it, I'm like sucked into the show. And you know what it is? I figured it out. You view it as like you put yourself in the position of the people who are trying to buy the house. And like in House Hunters where they're giving you the 3 different options. Like you've made your mind up. You're like, it's the fucking second one. It's
Yeah.
the second one.
Yeah.
Pick the second one. And then when they don't pick it, you're like, motherfucker. And when they do
get,
pick
like,
it, you're like,
emotionally
I
invested
like
in
these
this
guys.
shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you do. You get emotionally invested. You're like, okay, this is, yeah. So that I just randomly got obsessed with it. And I found myself watching, like, I watched it for like a few hours one night. I'm like, this is fucking really interesting. But then I also realized, because of this, actually, and I should have figured this out a long time ago, but I realized that, dude, I can get obsessed with anything. You know what I mean? Like there was a phase in my life where I was a kid and I played hockey and I wanted to be a professional hockey player. Then there was a point where I love football. I want to be a football player. You know, then the golf. I want to be a golfer. That was probably the most realistic one.
Yeah.
And like we were discussing Pokemon, like all these different things. Like there were phases where it's like just totally obsessed. That's the only thing I think about. The only thing I care about. You know, put everything into it. But then like you realize as you get older, okay, there's some that stick, some that don't, whatever. But if I can fucking get into HGTV, that means, seriously, think about it. If I put on, like, the hunting channel, you think after 3 days of watching it, I won't all of a sudden be into hunting?
No, yeah, of
I
course.
guarantee
get into
you.
it. Yeah.
I'd be like, I
start
gotta
to
get
watch
22,
things that
I gotta...
are, like, interesting to you. So, I mean, like, subconsciously, maybe you're like, let me come across the, you know, home gardening shit because I'm in the market for homes or something like that.
But that's the thing is because now there's a practical reason for it.
Yeah.
If there's not a practical reason for it, then probably not. But I feel like even in that case, maybe I could like it. You just have to give it a chance.
Yeah.
Which is why, like, you know, it's easy to be dismissive of shit you don't know about, and I'm guilty of that, and I think most people are guilty of that. But once you give something a chance, you start to see all the nuance of it, and you start to see like how interesting it could be. Like I know that people who dismiss golf, and most people, of course, and people don't like that shit. It's hitting a ball in a hole. At face value, it is just stupid. Like it's just stupid. It's a waste of time. I'm hitting a ball in a hole. Who cares? It's a stick and a ball. Who cares? But once you learn about it and you get into it, you're like, oh, okay, it's just kind of like, you know, with baseball, how there's a way to hit a baseball, there's a way not to hit a baseball. There's ways that work, there's ways that don't work. There's different schools of thought as to how to do it.
Yeah.
You know, practice makes perfect, all these things. And when you put it all together, you go, oh my God, there's a lot more to this. And then when you try to play it and you get bit by the bug, you're like, oh, I get it now.
You can even take it to like a bigger picture where it's just like you're hanging out with white people your whole life and you get invited to like a black or a Spanish party and you never really hung out with black or Spanish people and you're like, this shit is awesome. And then like you start like going to like Dominican parties or Puerto Rican parties and you're like, damn, everybody's dancing, having a fun time. All they drink is Corona. Like, why the fuck am I not here all the time? Like,
no, but that's exactly why I think you hit the nail on the head as to one of the main reasons why racism persists is that you have a lot of these like pseudo semi-segregated communities, especially in the South and the Midwest. And if you're not exposed to other cultures, you know, then you don't understand the nuances of it. You don't understand the appeal of it, and you just view it from an outside perspective, which is an ignorant perspective.
Yeah.
And there might be something, like, I don't know, there might be something innate in people that is like kind of, you know, just tribalistic, period. Like people, that's like a default position for people where it's like, you don't look exactly like me, man.
Yeah.
So, you know, so it's
Just
like okay, it's just standoffish.
Yeah.
That
Ignorant,
might be the natural inclination, but it's certainly, I think it's been proven that you can override that. If from a young age, you're part of a multicultural community, well, then it's nothing. Like I told this story before on air, but my nephew, you know, my brother-in-law asked my nephew, oh, which kid? Because he was telling him a story about some kid. He's young, you know, 3. He was probably 3 at the time or something, right? And he was like, oh, which kid are you talking about? You know, you're telling the story about. And my nephew was like, the tall one. Meanwhile, it was a black kid. But different color skin was such a nothing thing to him because he's so used to seeing people of all different races that he didn't even think to describe the person as black. He just thought, tall one, the tall kid.
Yeah.
And that's everything right there. And also, this is why, you know, like kid shows and stuff are important. If you have kid shows where you don't have people of all different backgrounds and races and religions and all that shit, then they are going to be, you know, kind of xenophobic and myopic without it even being their fault.
Yeah.
Because, you know, there are other people who they'll hit a certain age and they'll, for the first time, you know, when they're 4, see somebody who doesn't have the same skin color as them and they're like, why does that person look like that? You know, but if they, from when they're really young, they see all of it, then they go, oh, what do you mean? I don't see, we're all just people. You know what I mean? So there's, you know, there's
it's like, Fox News, they keep feeding their one fucking side. You can't blame someone who fucking speaks like them. It's just like, they don't even see the other side of that shit.
It's sad how deep the rot of propaganda can get into people's brains. And it's sad how effective it can be if the people do fucked up propaganda.
Yeah.
Because, you know, to think that, whether it's in Rwanda with the Hutu and the Tutsis where they said, like, the cockroaches, the other side are cockroaches, they're not people, they're less than people. Dehumanization. Nazi Germany, same thing. It happened.
Look at Donald Trump. Straight up, just like fucking like saying like Mexicans.
Yeah, no, that's
right. Isn't that like sort of like the same
shit? It's totally dehumanizing for sure. I mean,
and then he gets other people to get riled up and like say like, yeah, he's right. These Mexicans are like stealing my jobs.
And you're playing into the worst of humanity when you say shit like that.
Yeah,
you know, you're telling them that the worst parts of them are actually virtues. Like they think it's a virtue to try to say something like, I assume some Mexicans are good people, but they're rapists and they're criminals. They think that's a virtue because they think they're keeping it real, even though they're obviously not.
Yeah.
Because the overwhelming majority of people of all backgrounds are not in any way, shape, or form rapists or violent people.
Ugh.
All right, how much time we got left? 5 minutes? Can we squeeze just a few more in real quick?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
That's what she said.
So, I think I want to talk about. Okay, I'm going to be really offensive to everybody here. That's okay. So I think that I have now. Obviously, I don't have the real thing, and the real thing is impossible to deal with, and I feel horrible for people who have it. And, you know, Tourette syndrome, where people,
curse
like
out
that's
words
an
or
actual,
something like that.
you know, issue. I have like not that, but I will always at random times when I'm not trying to scream curses. I have the South Park version of it. Remember, you know, in the South, we were like tits, balls, suck on my ass, or whatever the fuck that guy was saying it.
But is it in context or something, or is it just random?
No. Like I'll be showering or whatever, and it'll be the morning, and I'll be pissed off. I'll just be like, fucking cunt prick, weasel.
So something has to trigger it. It's
Nothing triggers it. No, like, well, you know, it just might be that at the times when I do it, I'm like pissed off or tired or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, and I don't know what it's tied to, and I don't want to do too much theorizing here, but it just might be I work absurdly long days. Obviously, what I do is not really work, so I'm not complaining in any way. I love what I do, and I wouldn't want to do anything else. Like, I would be super miserable doing anything else. So I'm not trying to, you know, but it might be tied to the fact that, you know, sometimes I wake up at 9 o'clock in the morning and I have to work till 1 o'clock in the morning all day.
Yeah.
And it's just, you know, you wake up the next day, you're like, cock, bitch. And it's so ridiculous. It's like, I'll do it around some people. Like if it's like my family or something, like I'll just
really?
Fuck. Like, fuck. Like you'll just hear me say, fuck. Like I'll just scream some shit.
Would you do it in public?
No, I probably wouldn't.
So you could control it in public?
No, I can control. Yeah, I can control it, but like, I never. If I'm in the context where I feel like it's comfortable to do it, I'm not going to hold it back.
That's what's up then.
Yeah, it also gets weird too, though. Like sometimes.
Yeah, of course it would get weird.
It's already weird, but it gets weird.
At like a Thanksgiving
like
dinner,
sometimes
like I'm comfortable with these
like
people.
I'll sing my curses.
Oh yeah, no, I've been around you.
I'll be like, bitch.
Yeah. I've totally been around you. You're like, fuck.
So, like, I can control it in public, obviously, but, like, in some contexts, it's like, you know, balls to the wall. Just my balls are hanging out all over the
bitch. Yeah, I've totally been around you when you do that shit.
Son of a bitch, yeah. And that's kind of like the birth of how I do the live show. Where every time I come back from a break, I'm like, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Like, that kind of stems from the fact that I don't know what it is, if it's just like a buildup of anger and then it's just a burst of releasing it, or if I'm just an idiot and I'm an idiot. Like, I don't know the explanation for it, but I do that.
I would love to see if there's got to be like a study on that type of shit where if you like just yell something out randomly, you're a genius or something.
No. If anything,
there's always weird shit like that.
A moron.
Like, someone will do something and then like on Facebook or something, someone will post an article and it'll just be like, people who do that are actually geniuses. And I'm just like, fuck yeah. Like, because I like take 3 shits a day means I'm a genius. There's always some random article like for some shit like that.
No, that is
you know
true.
what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do know exactly. There's always some articles that say
there was
one yesterday.
recently.
Insomnia. People who have insomnia, they say your brain is hyper aroused all the time. I just read that on Slate.
This is the one that I heard was people who like when you eat, people who are annoyed by people who like
chew. Yeah,
chew. You're like,
I'm that guy.
Yeah. There was an article saying like scientists have shown and there's studies that people who get annoyed by those little sounds, there's like a word for it, and you're a genius. Really? Because like there's like something going on where like you could pick up silent sounds like and pick that.
Is
Yeah.
that the thing? I always just thought that I was a douchebag. Like I hear people chewing and I like. You know
that too. You want to just be like, dude, shut your fucking mouth.
Yeah, no,
like,
it might just be like you're perceptive to shit that other people overlook. Like other people just think, okay, somebody's eating, I don't care. But I'm sitting there and I'm like, you're ruining my peace.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to not fucking hear your nasty ass mouth.
There was a term for it that the reason is because your brain
I want to read that article.
Blah. Yeah.
That reminds me of a Keenan and Kel episode.
They had the word scientist in it a couple times.
Reminds me of a Keenan and Kel episode where he did a test and somehow got like a 99 or some shit, and it was like an intelligence test, and Kel wears a shirt the whole episode says, I'm a genius.
Oh, really?
I'm gonna wear that shirt now.
Yeah, you can. You wear that shit on the show like, I'm a genius. This guy's a genius.
I've now referenced Keenan and Kel twice in one episode.
And Keenan was definitely that dude. How I'm like 13? Kel was the dude that he's the type of dude that would just be eating like some shit, and he would just be like,
oh, for sure, yeah. But when Kel did it, it was okay because he's Kel. He can do anything. He's the man. All right, one more, and then
even though he's not funny at all on fucking SNL, I hate him.
Kel,
the fatter one.
Keenan, you mean? That's Keenan.
Keenan. is on SNL?
Keenan's on SNL. Kel's not SNL.
Okay, yeah.
If
Kel would be funny
if
on
Keenan
SNL.
and Kel were on SNL, that would be
That would be
perfect.
good, but I just don't think the
Supposedly
fat guy is not
Keenan's
funny
a
at all.
dick. Supposedly,
Really?
yeah, I've read articles about how, you know, Kel has always been like, you know, we could do something again.
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
we could do a show, whatever. And Keenan's always been like,
But they got together on Jimmy Fallon.
that's true. That is true, and that was recently.
Yeah.
So maybe it's changed
He's opening
recently.
up to it. He's probably like, I got no money.
Nah, Keenan's probably loaded as fuck. But yeah, the word was that he was kind of trying to like move on from that phase of his life and like
That's
be
the
his
fat
own
one,
guy.
right?
That's Keenan, yeah, the bigger one.
Yeah, because he actually has different options for doing shit. I mean,
Yeah,
like,
he's been on SNL for a while now.
yeah, and he was. That's the same one from the Mighty Ducks movie, right?
Oh, I
Or is
don't
that no?
remember.
That's not the same kid.
No, probably
That was mad
not.
racist of me. It was just like a little like round fat black kid, and that I just
No, he was. I think he was in Fat Albert though. I do think Keenan was in Fat Albert.
yes, he was Fat Albert.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And he has a funny story about Bill Cosby. How Bill Cosby, he knew Bill Cosby was a pervert back then.
Really?
Because Bill Cosby said some shit to him like, you know, when you get famous, you're gonna want to get 2 dicks because
Oh,
one not gonna be enough. He said something like that to him,
fucking Cosby.
and Keenan was like, "What the fuck?" Like this old dude, because it was one of his like heroes, his like
Yeah, I'm
comedy heroes.
sure.
And then he says that shit to me. He's like, "Oh,
Yeah, like, you fucking creep.
what the fuck?" All right, last thing, man. I think that lust gets a bad rap.
lust.
Like, you know how, like, in culture, in society, that sounds so douchey how I just set that up. In culture. No, but, you know, the common thing, like, if you talk about lust, it's got a negative connotation where people are like, oh, that, like, perverted version of love where,
What the fuck
you know,
is
all
even
you want to
lust?
do is fuck.
Oh,
That's
is
what
that
it is.
sort of- okay.
It's when, you know,
Like a more
super
risque
horny-
version of love.
Yeah, it's just horny people who are fucking,
Yeah.
basically. That's lust. Like, you know, are you in love or are you in lust? Like, oh, we like to fuck all the time. Then you're lusting. It's not necessarily love. But I think love gets a bad rap because people make it seem like love and lust are totally different, and they're not. Because if you're in love, well, obviously you're going to have sex with a person. So this idea that, like, you know, we should all hate lust and make fun of lust and talk about lust like it's like, oh, you're a bad person if you like that. But love, oh, love is so pretty, it's so special. So fuck you. I don't, when people try to like divorce the sexual angle from love, well, then you have, you know, what you have with your dog or
Yeah,
what you have with
like
your
a
fucking
friendship.
family or your friends. Yeah.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, people. Yeah, they PC everything, and it's just like, no, that's the next step of.
Yeah,
Love.
and I honestly, and speaking from personal experience, I wasn't able to tell the difference when I was younger. Now, obviously, I'm an idiot, and with shit like that, I was always just, you know, looking for the physical angle of it, but I wasn't able to tell the difference. Like, if I really lusted for somebody who I was dating, I immediately thought, well, this is love.
But you can't have lust before love, can you?
Why not?
So you could. So if lust is like just the sex part of it,
Right.
oh, I guess you could. I guess
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I don't think people get that. This idea that, like, it should be shamed or it's not healthy if the guy really likes the girl and he lusts after her and he's always thinking about that aspect of it and he wants to be with her for that.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
It's
Everybody's
like-
thinking about that.
That's what I'm saying. And this idea that, like, well, I mean, are you a good guy or a bad guy? Are you just in lust or are you in love? It's like, what? That's that same fucking thing.
Yeah.
I want to have sex with this woman. I'm dating this woman. I'm interested in that aspect of it. For somebody to say, like, and to pretend like it's super distinct, like, you know when you're in one or the other. Like, well, this one's just
Yeah,
lust,
no.
but that was love.
They go hand in
They
hand.
go hand in, exactly. They go hand in hand.
That's what. Yeah, like I'm an ass. I think every guy is trying to like fuck a girl when he talks to her.
I don't think you're being an ass. I think you're being pretty realistic. Like, I think
Yeah.
there's some who might be, because I think libidos vary in nature. Like, there's some people who have a higher libido, some people have a lower libido.
Mm-hmm.
So with the lower libido dude, then maybe not as much, and they really are way more in it for just the companionship and the friendship and stuff.
I would say that guy's. I'm not even being messed up. I would say that guy's gay.
No.
I don't think, and I genuinely think any
way.
dude. So flying here from Chicago,
Uh-huh.
there was a guy and like a girl sitting in front of me, and she was pretty attractive, and the guy in front of me was like a good-looking dude, and he was sitting in the seat before anybody got in the plane, and then I was in the row right behind him, and then like this other lady walks up, and she was like, "Oh, you're in my seat," and he was like, "Oh, actually, like, can you sit here? Like, and he was in her seat, so he wanted to sit next to this girl. And he seemed like a very intelligent dude, and I was sort of like listening just to their, not like I was eavesdropping on their conversation and shit, just like seeing what was going on.
They're
like,
listening to the show right now, by the way, but
yeah,
go on.
probably, like, I'm gonna ruin her relationship. No, but like, so he was like talking to her, just like, oh, like you were in Chicago, what were you doing? Like, and he had like an accent, she had an accent, and I'm thinking in my head like, yeah, he probably cares, but like,
He's trying to fuck.
he's trying to be like,
No, that's the Chris Rock joke that he said. He's like, anytime a guy has ever done anything for you, if you're a girl from when you're age like 16 and on, everything is just an offer for dick.
yeah,
Like, you hold the door for her. It's like, oh, well, thank you. You're welcome. Want some dick? Like, that's
Yeah.
the old joke, and it's true.
like would
for
that guy
sure.
be talking to an old ass woman who's sitting there like just trying to
No,
get
no,
to
no.
New York?
I think
like,
you're right. I think you're right. But all I'm saying is there's different levels of that. Like, there's guys who are really horny all the time where literally everything they do is about that when it comes to talking to women. And then there's other guys who have a lower libido, especially if they're like older in age. Like, if you get to
that just genuinely want to talk to like a girl.
Not even necessarily that, but just it's not, the urge isn't as overwhelming. Where, you know, literally everything you do is driven by this primal urge to fucking bust nuts and shit. You know?
Yeah.
So there's different levels of it. Because you can't say that they're actually, if a guy is straight and he only wants to have sex with women, that if he doesn't want to do it as much as a super duper horny guy, that guy's gay. Although I have said somewhat similar things in the past. Like, I have the theory, you've heard my theory on, and this is totally unfair, guys, and this is untrue, but it's a theory that I've thrown out there many times, where if a guy is into girls who have like boyish figures, like really, really skinny asses
I've heard
and
this
shit,
from you
and
before.
long legs, like, I'm always like,
There's
so you're
something
kind of
weird-
gay.
there's something
like,
going on there.
there's not wrong, but like you're kind of gay
Yeah.
because you're looking at an ass that looks like a 13-year-old boy's ass, and you're like, yummy. So then, what do you think when you look at the 13-year-old boy's ass? Are you thinking yummy?
Which I don't get, because when there's usually like a lesbian couple, and I've got nothing against gay people at all, but usually when there's a lesbian couple, there's one that's sort of like the woman, and then she'll date another girl that's got like short hair and sort of like a guy.
Right.
So I'm just like, why not just find a guy that looks like that? Like, and I've got nothing against lesbians, but like, if
you're
you're
just
looking
saying-
for like a guy in the relationship, I don't.
No, see,
yeah.
you're getting into the topic of gender roles, which is really interesting because I've always maintained like a mixed position on this, where I don't think there's some people today, people who think social constructivists, I think they're called, where they say everything about gender is a social construct, and that's an example where I think it's mixed. I think some things about gender are a social construct, and I think some things about gender are not a social construct. And what you're describing is a situation where people, like, these are gay people who kind of naturally want to fall into one category or another with their gender identity and how they live. Like, you can be a gay guy, for example, who's like a butch kind of gay guy. What do they call them? Twinks and something else? I don't know the technical terms. But like, there's like a more feminine gay guy and there's a more masculine gay guy. There's a more feminine gay woman and a more masculine gay woman. So there's something to gender roles that is not wholly made up. There's some aspect of it that's, you know, more innate or biological or whatever you want to call it. And this is one of the reasons why when Caitlyn Jenner became Caitlyn Jenner, she didn't turn into a butch version of Caitlyn Jenner. Caitlyn went all the way to looking super feminine as Caitlyn Jenner. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that shows you that it's not all made up. There's a lot about gender and a lot about the rules that go hand in hand with it that indeed is made up, and we've gone over it on the show, and I'll continue when I see those articles to talk about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's something about gender that is not totally made up, where, you know, people default to wanting to fit into one kind of box or another. Like, Caitlyn could have became a woman and been a butch woman, but Caitlyn Jenner decided to become a very feminine-like woman.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like what you're describing there with gay couples, how, you know, you could see a more feminine gay woman with a more masculine gay woman.
Yeah.
And, you know, it fits the roles. And yeah, no, I see what you're saying. Gender gets weird, man.
That's just what confusing. That's just what confuses me in general. Is just like, if you're don't want to date a guy.
I can answer that. At their core, though, it's just they don't like dick. They don't. That's not the sexual.
But they like guys. I mean, like,
No.
not that they like guys, but like,
They like a more masculine looking woman. You see what I'm saying? In the
Yeah.
example you gave,
Yeah.
like, there's a difference between a masculine looking woman and a dude with a dick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's also a difference between, you know, the transgender woman, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
these are all distinctly different things, which is why now I think Facebook went too far with the 9 trillion different fucking gender categorizations.
Oh, I didn't
but
see
there's
all that.
certainly more than, you know, 2.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
yeah,
there's a
yeah.
middle ground there
Of
where
course.
it's like yeah. So I do think that sometimes people get too PC with it, where they say everything is made up gender-wise in society, and that's not true. Some of it is innate. But also the other extreme isn't true, where the conservatives say, like, it's just man and woman.
Yeah.
No, nobody's gay. Shit like that.
Stupid.
Yeah. All right, so let's wrap it up here. I know you got to go to the Knick
bounce.
game. It was fun, brother. We'll do another one soon.
Yeah, that
I
was
guess
dope.
you're going back to Chicago soon?
Yeah, I'm going back Monday. But I'll be back in like a month or something for like Christmas time.
All right, sweet. All right,
Yeah.
guys. Love you.
Shout out
Peace.
to Lilith. She's cool people, man.
Yeah, Lilith is awesome. Lilith, you're the best. All right, guys. Later.